that there were more than 4 downs run, so they may have run 5 downs.
Instead of the game being over, it appears that the Redskins get the 5th down.
All right, everyone, welcome to the 5th Down, brought to you by the Enemy of the Good Podcast Network. I'm the captain.
And I'm Tootsy.
All right, so we're here again. This is our second live in a row, coming to you on Tuesday night. We're going to break down Week 6 for you today. Let you know who won, who lost, and try to figure out what's going on because the Saints didn't play this week, so it's a little more difficult for us to do this.
Not really, but all right, guys. So we're gonna start with a recap of the week. Thursday Night Football. Tampa Bay takes care of the Eagles, 28-22. The game was not as close as the score indicated. Jaguars pick up their first win of the year over the Dolphins in across the pond.
Go Jags!
23-20. Packers, of course, beat the Bears, 24-14. Aaron Rodgers owns you. Bengals over the Lions, 34-11. Colts over the Texans, 31-3. Rams beating the Giants, 38-11. Chiefs, 31 over the football team at 13. Vikings beat the Panthers in overtime, 34-28. We'll get to that overtime victory a little bit. Ravens just dominated the Chargers. Just dominated them, 34-6, excuse me. Cardinals over the Browns, 37-14. Raiders beat the Broncos, 34-24. Cowboys, 35. Patriots, 29. Steelers, 23. Over the Seahawks in overtime for your third overtime game of the week, 23-20. Monday Night Football last night, we had the Titans pull somewhat of an upset, I guess you could say. Last-minute victory over the Buffalo Bills, 34-31. So another week with at least 2 overtime games, 3 this week.
3 this week, almost 4.
So every week so far, we've had at least 2 overtime games this season.
Yeah, I think we tied a record this week with the overtime games.
Like for a year?
No, for at this point in time in the NFL setup. But
right.
Yeah, so our first game we could talk about. Let's go ahead and talk about Cowboys Patriots. I believe we both watched that one, right?
Yeah.
That was a good game. I have to say, I definitely feel like Mac Jones is probably the best quarterback that came out of this draft so far.
Yeah.
And Trevon Diggs is probably the best cornerback in the NFL right now.
And he's at 7 interceptions or 8.
It's 7 or 8. He's had quite a few of them. He's had 1 in each game so far, but 2 back to the house. So yeah, he's definitely the best cornerback in the league at this point in time. I kind of feel like the Patriots are close. They're really close to turning the page.
Yeah.
From where they were at last year to where they're going to be for the future.
And it was it was to put Mac Jones in there to get rid of Cam Newton. It was the best thing they could have done.
Yeah.
Because Cam wasn't going to last.
No.
Long term.
No.
That just wasn't going to happen.
I haven't been a huge Cam Newton fan for quite some time. I used to hate when he used to do that Superman pull of his shirt. It always killed me. They could be down by 20 points and he'll score a touchdown and he's like, ah, and it's like, come on, man, act like you've been there before.
Yeah. No, he just he wasn't going to survive in a Belichick environment. That's not going to happen.
Yeah, that pick never made sense to me when they went out and they bought him in free agency. It just never made sense to me.
Well, Belichick though, he'll bring in misfit toys.
Yeah, the bag boys from A&P
he'll bring in guys that may have had like some issues before, but they need another chance.
He did it with Antonio Brown. He did it with Randy Moss.
Yep. Look what happened with Randy Moss.
He tried it with Cam Newton. It didn't work out. He did it with Josh Gordon. I want to say Josh Gordon was there for a little
he had
bit
like half a year, and then he got popped again.
But
now he's got his 16th chance in the NFL this year.
Yeah, he's given plenty of chances all over the league to other players just to, people who might be on their way out, try to get them to revitalize that career. which works with a quarterback like Brady. I don't know if it's going to work with a quarterback like Mac Jones.
Jones is a work in progress. I mean, he's a
Yeah,
rookie.
he's talented. There's no doubt about it. I think he's going to be that guy for the future.
And I mean, you look all around. You got him. You got Justin Fields. San Francisco.
Trey Lance.
Trey Lance in San Francisco, and then Trevor Lawrence down there. In Jacksonville, nobody's really doing that hot, but Jones is probably doing the best out of all of them. And to see,
Look, I mean,
Justin Fields looks good, but he's just making bad decisions.
yeah, but Mac Jones probably has the best situation to be under.
Oh yeah,
as a rookie quarterback coming into the NFL.
You're in a storied
you're
franchise.
Going into a Bill Belichick ran offense. He's starting to put pieces around you. He's starting to get you some receivers. He's starting to get you some offensive linemen to hold you up, which is things they were lacking last year. They went out and they spent money on their defense and offense. And the Patriots normally don't spend money, so to see them actually doing that means that they're actually going to invest for the future because they know that the cash cow they had with Brady is gone.
Yeah,
that they have to rebuild and do something to get back there.
Yeah, and it's going to take a little while. It's not going to be perfect for them, but it'll be a new thing.
But I mean, we spent a lot of time talking about the Patriots when we really should be talking about
Goddamn
what the Cowboys did. I mean, I hate to give them credit, but I mean, they are the real deal so far. I mean, when we're looking at Dak Prescott, I mean, he's probably one of the guys that's in the lead in the MVP race right now.
I mean, if it wasn't for Kyler Murray and Lamar Jackson.
And you see, I have Justin Herbert and Josh Allen in that talk too for the top five.
Yeah, and then you still got Patrick Mahomes, but he's had too many turnovers to be leading that conversation right now. Yeah, I'm not saying that's not going to change.
I want to talk about Patrick Mahomes. We'll do that. We'll talk about Patrick Mahomes in the OT.
We'll get to that. We'll get to that.
We'll talk about that in the OT.
But it's to see Dak Prescott come back after that serious injury, and I told you last season, dude, he's worth every penny of it.
Yeah, I mean, look, I always thought he was good. I mean, when he was in his first rookie season in preseason, when he was playing, I'm like, man, he's going to do something in this league. And then, Tony Romo goes down and he comes in and they pretty much pick up from where they left off.
Yeah.
With no drop off whatsoever. So, I mean, it was a good deal for them to have him. And, I mean, that was, for them to pull Ezekiel Elliott and Dak Prescott in the same draft, and they actually pulled CeeDee Lamb and Trayvon Diggs in the same draft. So I mean, they're hitting it in the draft, not necessarily with first round picks, second, third, fourth round guys, but they're making it happen. They're doing it.
I feel like Mike McCarthy is not making any decisions right now,
and he might not be. And
I feel like that's the best thing.
He is horrible with running the clock, and despite him, they are still winning games. And
yes, despite him.
But that's still not going to put him on the hot seat as much as you want him to be fired.
Oh, he's not going to be on the hot seat because they're 5-1. Like if they were 3-3 right now, then yes, I would say that.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I keep looking to the right. We actually have this game we're talking about right now, running some highlights, and we just saw the Mac Jones 72-yard right after Trevon Diggs ran a pick six back. So
yeah, I mean, and look, Diggs is leading. Trevon Diggs is leading the NFL right now with 7 interceptions and 11 passes defended.
And two defensive touchdowns.
Right.
Don't forget about those pick sixes. Those are important.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's not a whole lot to say. I mean, Zeke is doing the job when he needs to do it, but I mean, the game for Dallas is riding through Dak Prescott. He has to be that guy. So, sorry about that.
Sorry, Podcat is getting into things he shouldn't be getting into. You may have heard him just now. So that, the Cowboys and the Patriots was actually one of the best games of the week. I wasn't expecting it to be that.
It was a really good game.
But it was a good game.
One of the overtime games, and Dallas did come out on top, but it was definitely a game to watch, and it was enjoyable.
Yes. So next game we'll go to Bills and Tennessee.
Yeah, this was a good game. Another good one. I mean, Derrick Henry, he had 20 carries for 143 yards and three touchdowns with a long rush of 76 yards.
He just broke that one off.
Yeah, look. And a lot of people are going to call out Sean McDermott for not kicking a field goal to take it into overtime.
Yeah.
But look, when you're a coach, you have to take those choices, right? You're either going to decide to go for the win or you're going to decide to go for the tie. And he took a shot. Probably any other day, Josh Allen doesn't slip and he makes that first down. You know, it was kind of one of those, he slipped in the backfield and he just couldn't recover. And he went down and they ended up losing the game in spectacular fashion. But to be honest with you, Buffalo's defense didn't have an answer for Derrick Henry.
No.
So I think it was
he
the
ran
right call.
stupid on him.
It was definitely the right call to go for it, to win the game there. It didn't play out that way for you, which is...
And I mean, Tannehill, he was efficient enough. I mean, 216, you know, he basically put him within punch-in distance the whole time, and just a one pick, but he actually ran in one score.
Yeah.
But he was, you know, one pick, no touchdowns in the air. Julio Jones pulled off a beautiful catch.
Dude, that catch was amazing. That was probably the catch of the season so far. I mean, it bounced off the defender's helmet about 15 to 20 feet in the air, and Julio made a circus catch on the sideline.
I'll put that in the show notes on the podcast.
Yeah, if you didn't see it, go look up that highlight, Julio Jones. That was probably the catch of the season so far.
So yeah, that was another really good game. It could have gone to overtime. We'd had 4 overtime games.
Yeah, I appreciate it not going into overtime.
Yeah, no, I had enough of those already. But I mean, look, Buffalo's defense just couldn't stop them.
No, they were beat. And look, when you have a running team like Tennessee's a running team, no doubt about it. Eventually, at some point, they're gonna wear your defensive line down. And Derrick Henry's always been better in the second half of the games. So he may struggle in that first half, but he will come back in the second half, and he, after beating you up in the first half, and he'll run the ball on you and he'll take it to the house. You know, 3 times this game. So I mean, if you had him in fantasy football, congratulations, because you just pretty much
won.
beat everybody.
Yeah. So that's Tennessee and Buffalo. That was just a really good one. I want to touch on the Cardinals in Cleveland. Cardinals are still unbeaten. They beat the crap out of Cleveland. There's no way around that. They just destroyed. They got nothing but pressure on Baker Mayfield all day long. And, I mean, you're looking at 67 tackles, 45 solo, 2 sacks, 5 tackles for loss for Cleveland. And then you're looking at Arizona. They had 60 tackles, 39, 5 sacks, 6 tackles for loss. That's huge. That's a big difference.
Yeah.
And Baker Mayfield lost 2 fumbles. So, you know, the Arizona pass rush, the defense was able to get there.
Yeah. Baker also sustained more injury to his non-throwing shoulder. So.
Now, Kyler Murray also fumbled 4 times, but he recovered. They were all recovered by the offense. So, and then, Baker got an injury to his shoulder, so we'll see how that goes. Kareem Hunt goes down with a calf injury. He's going to be out for a couple of weeks. We'll see what happens there. Honestly, it's just another feather in the cap for Kyler Murray for his MVP.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, we had the Browns
it's the turnovers. It's the turnovers.
Yeah, we had the Browns as one of the better teams in the league, and to sit back and watch them get destroyed that way, it was kind of...
I mean, I still think they are one of the better teams in the league, but it just, the Cardinals are still the only unbeaten for a good reason.
Yeah.
So, that's the Cardinals-Browns. We'll see what happens with going forward. All right, the other one that I kind of did want to talk about was another one of the old-time games was Seattle-Pittsburgh.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoyed this game a lot. Geno Smith played his heart out.
Yeah.
You know, he showed he still got at least what it takes to be a good backup in the NFL.
Yeah, I did watch this game also because I was kind of scouting ahead for the Saints because we play Seattle coming up. They won't have Russell Wilson back, so they'll still have Geno Smith.
He got
what's scary is that their running game got going.
Yes.
So
Alex Collins had 20 carries for 100 yards and a touchdown. The rest of the running backs contributed for another 40-ish yards. And, you know, Geno Smith only had 165 in the air, but Pittsburgh's defense was still pretty good, and Seattle's defense was able to hold Big Ben. And but Najee Harris also got going.
Yeah.
That's the other thing. And I saw a lot of fun looks from the Steelers, right? They had all those weird packages. You know, they did the Claypool reverse. They had Kalen Ballage had a carry, and then Eric Ebron did the carry from the backfield on the other side into the thing. It's just like, all right. So Mike Tomlin's back to doing his crazy stuff, which, you know, we don't know. Is that... Hey, Chris, what's happening, buddy? What do you think is going to happen to Big Ben after this season? You think he retires?
Yeah, I think he's going to retire. I think he's pretty much on the end of his career. It's kind of reminiscent to the Peyton Manning. You know,
I feel like it's
the flip just switched and it's just done.
Yeah.
Right, but I mean, he's still serviceable enough to throw the ball for you, to lead that team to some victories when necessary, when Najee Harris isn't running. But I do see them moving into a more of a run-heavy offense and just kind of.
But Najee Harris showed this week that he can do that. I mean, the guy had 6 receptions for 46 yards and a score, and 24 rushes for 81 yards. So he's going to be the valve for that team. And, you know, Ben is going to retire when Ben's ready. You know, the Steelers aren't going to kick him out the door.
You say that, but I think.
Dude, Mike Tomlin is one of the most loyal.
Yeah, you see, but they messed up by letting him come back this year. So I see them just saying they're going to have a conversation with him towards the end of the season and be like,
I agree.
All right, Ben, thank you, but this is it. You know, we appreciate you. You've done a lot for us. Two Super Bowls. Right?
Yeah.
But it's over.
I mean, it's the same kind of situation with Drew last year.
Yeah.
Right. We had one more hurrah, and it just didn't work out.
Yeah, I think that's where we're at.
But yeah, once Seattle's defense showed up again this week, and they did a pretty good job keeping them in there. I mean, you hold Pittsburgh to 23 points, despite having Deontay Johnson had some drops this time that just would have been a lot bigger day for Pittsburgh if it wasn't for a couple of key drops. Yeah. But credit to Seattle, the young guys there stepping up and making a difference there for them.
All right.
Any other games you got this week, or that's all the ones that I really
yeah, I mean, there's really not a whole lot to say. I mean,
everything else is pretty much.
It's kind of hard for me to do this when the Saints are on a bye. So I mean, I'm glad it only happened once.
Well, I mean, you know, the Aaron Rodgers continues to be the Bears' daddy.
Yeah, I mean, I wish
he owns you.
I wish for Chris we had something to say about the Texans, but I mean, just 3 points.
3 points.
I mean, I don't know what to say. So sorry, Chris. I know you're a huge Texans fan, but I mean, you're gonna have a long season ahead of you.
With whatever happens with,
you know, and kudos to the Jags for finally getting their first win. I mean,
that was big for them. You know, I mean, you could see it in the celebration after
a game-winning
field goal.
I mean, sometimes it's just enough.
Considering all the missed field goals so far this year, a game-winning field goal is nice.
Yeah, I mean, you know, maybe they finally got the Jaguar off their back, or the monkey off their back, if you will, and maybe that'll help them, you know, put some more wins in the column.
I know we could have, but we didn't.
We could have, Chris, but I saw you. I had to,
man. So the Bucs and Brady still looking like one of the best teams, if not the best team in the NFC.
Best in the NFC, yeah. Right now, I'd have to say it's probably Arizona, Rams, Dallas, and Bucs.
Yeah,
that would be the top 4 in the NFC at this point. AFC is a little harder to pin down because they keep knocking each other off.
Yeah, no, I'm still going to go with, I think the Ravens are the best team right now. Mm-hmm. And then after that, I would have to say, I still want to say the Bills.
I still like the Ravens, the Bills, the Browns, and the Chargers. I mean, I know the Ravens just got destroyed, but I still like the Chargers in there.
I mean, the Chiefs are always going to contend, and I think you saw in the second half of the game, the Chiefs seemed to fix whatever was going on.
Yeah. Like, we'll touch more on the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes when we come up, because, you know, we're going to do something just strictly for the podcast people, not for the live. But if you want to catch it, please go to our podcast page and like us on there. Or on Apple, Google, Spotify, the Fifth Down.
Yeah, so we'll have the podcast up, but however long it takes me to edit it after the show. So we'll have that, and then we're going to do an overtime where it's going to be like a 10 or 15 minutes.
Yeah, a little quick
just us going, and it's just going to be strictly on the podcast. So you'll be able to hear that tonight, first thing in the morning.
I mean, let's go ahead and move into our picks. The little thing we do every week. So I had the Texans, the Colts.
So wait. Going into the week, we were tied at 12-4 each.
Yes.
So far, we started week 2. We each picked 4 games for the other.
Right.
All right. So tied going into the week. So Captain had.
I had the Texans at the Colts. I had the Bills at the Titans. I had Pittsburgh at Seattle, and I had Carolina at Minnesota. I went. If you're not familiar, I went 2-2. So that's what I had. Tootsy here.
So that brings you to 14-16.
Yeah.
I had Dallas over New England, Arizona over Cleveland, Baltimore over the Chargers, and Miami over Jacksonville. That was the only one I lost. So I'm 3-1 this week and 15-5.
I'll catch back
I'm
up
better
this
at
week.
football.
I'll catch up this week. All right. So my picks for this week, I have Green Bay over Washington, Indianapolis over San Francisco, Carolina over the Giants, and New England over the Jets.
And I've got Kansas City over Tennessee. I'm going to take the Ravens over the Bengals, although I think this is going to be one of the best games of the week. Since he is playing
Lights out right
very
now.
good
Yeah.
football. And Burrow to Jamar Chase is just... Falcons, of course, I'm going to take them over the Dolphins, but God knows what's going to happen there. And I'm going to take Vegas over Philly.
Yeah. So there you have it. That's our picks for the week. It's just a little fun thing between us.
Yeah.
He's winning for this week, but all that's going to change. Next thing we have, is our Dumb Stupid Head Award. We'll let you take this one because you picked it this week.
You're dumb. You're so dumb. Dumb and stupid. Dumb.
Go ahead. I'm going to
All
let you
right,
do it.
so this week's Dumb Stupid Head Award, as much as I wanted to not do this because he had a phenomenal back end of the game, is TJ Watt for punching Najee Harris in the damn helmet. Like, I get you're trying to get the ball, TJ, but they flagged him because, like, 2 of his punches basically hit Najee Harris in the face. He wasn't intending to do it, so I don't think he's going to get the penalty, the fine.
He may still get a fine, but he didn't get ejected. Normally, a
No.
punch to the face is automatic ejection, but
He was going for the ball, but he didn't stop. He just kept punching, and he wasn't looking. I mean, I'll throw that in there too, but he made up for it in the second half of the game because he basically made some of the best plays of the week on defense just to get there and did I say Najee Harris? Oh my God, I screwed up. Anyway, but yeah, he was just punching and that, and he basically made some of the best plays of the game to make sure the Steelers won. So,
yeah.
Again, that was actually a really good defensive performance by the Steelers. I know we didn't talk about it in the game, but they were lights out. They were lights out. Even against Geno Smith.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing is Geno Smith. I mean...
But they still had a chance. You know what I'm saying? Like, Seattle had a chance.
Yeah, they were still in it. Hopefully, they don't play that well this week against the Saints coming up. So, I mean, we can do, if you want to talk about what we got coming up this week.
So we're coming back off a bye.
Yeah, so far
we're only going to have 1 or 2 guys still on IR.
Yeah, so far they reactivated Quan Alexander, Teron Armstead, Will Lutz, and I can't remember the other person they done. But we get David Omanyata back next week because he had serving that 6-game suspension. This is a 6th game. We'll get him back next week, and we still have Michael Thomas on the shelf.
Yeah, so I think he's got maybe 2 weeks.
The other receiver.
Traquan Smith.
Yeah, I can never remember his name.
Traquan Smith comes back this week.
Yeah, and they reactivated Traquan Smith.
And that just gives such more depth offensively.
Yeah, we're starting to get a little more depth. I really like Quan Alexander coming back, especially this week with the running game that they showed against the Steelers. I'm hoping that he's a good factor in stopping that and taking care of that for us this week because we're going to need it. I don't think Geno Smith is going to be the one to beat us. I think that's going to be off the ground if they can do it. So it's real good to have those guys back.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It should be a win for us, but it's in Seattle, so who knows?
It's in Seattle, coming back from a bye. Historically, we're not great. Coming off the bye week,
I'm excited
especially
to see
coming back
Jameis.
off the bye week and then traveling. And then, I mean, I'm gonna be that guy. I'm gonna pull those stats out the air, but we're horrible when we travel to the West Coast. So it's, those are three things that's stacking up on this game that has me concerned. Like I said, I do like the fact that we don't have to play against Russell Wilson. Really, the only thing that Seattle has going for them is that running game, and I do like that we're getting healthy at the right time, coming back off the bye. So
yeah,
hopefully those are good things, and we can build on that, and we can pull a win off on the West Coast, because that's normally not our stomping ground.
we should come out with it, and I think we'll get to see, because it looked like the Saints finally started clicking in that second half.
Yeah, we'll see.
And you had that deep ball, you had the Hail Mary, you had Marquez Callaway get that amazing catch, and then after that it was just success.
The Saints really need Michael Thomas to come back.
I think Traquan Smith is going to at least help stretch the ball around and move the field around a little bit.
Yeah.
So you're going to have something, but that Michael Thomas is the guy who gives you that extra dimension.
Yeah.
That we just don't have.
I mean, as much as people want to give him a hard time, call him slant ball and whatnot, but I mean, he still demands you to cover him with your best corner, if not two people. So, I mean, if you're going to let him beat you, you might as well let him beat you on a corner on a slant route. Because
and I mean, look, we're still in the hunt for a wild card spot.
Yeah.
That's
no, but the way that the rest
still
of the
within
NFC
reach.
is shaping up, I mean, it's actually looking very favorable for us at this point.
Yeah.
So I mean, we just we just have to play the games that we have in front of us and not worry about what everybody else has going on, and just do us. I mean, the biggest problem I have going on with this league right now is especially Saints fans, is the negative talk against Jameis Winston, because that if you're talking bad about Jameis, it just shows me that you're really not looking at the numbers, because his numbers are there.
Yeah.
12 touchdowns to 4 interceptions.
It's good numbers.
No, 12 to 3. I'm sorry, 12 touchdowns to 3 interceptions. So that's a 4-to-1 ratio, and I mean, that's one of the best ones in the league. You're still going to sit back and say that Patrick Mahomes is one of the best quarterbacks in the league when Jameis is blowing him out the water when it comes to touchdown to interception ratio.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, he does. Patrick Mahomes does have more yards, but Jameis is beating him where it counts, and that's putting points on the board.
And it's showing for the Chiefs, right?
Yeah.
We're going to tie in the overtime a little bit more, because the Chiefs' offensive struggles are something that is a little concerning.
So,
but we're going to go ahead and in the live stream. Catch us tomorrow for the overtime part of the podcast.
If you like what you heard today, please go like, share, subscribe. I mean, we need your help. I mean, we like doing this. I like having people actually watching, the two of you that are out here checking us live right now. And, we had a good response from the people checking it out after last week. So we hope to have that same response. But please go check us out on Apple Podcasts, Google, Spotify. Go find us. We're there. The Fifth Down. It's up. Go take a look at us.
Yep, easy to find. All right, everybody. We'll also have the links on the page. They're on the page as well, on the Facebook page.
All right, guys.
All right, guys.
Deuces.